screen sharing, so this is going to be interesting. All right.
Hello.
Hello. Hello and welcome to Fall Through, your source for deep conversations about technology, software, and computing. I'm your host, Chris Brando, also known as Scriptable, and on today's episode, Matt and I are going over the most recent Go release, which is Go 1.25. We're going to take a tour through the release notes and give our commentary about what we think about this release. And for supporters, we have a bonus unpopular opinion of mine that I thought would be kind of for your guys' ears only, but, listen to it and let me know what you think. As always, if you're not already following us on social media, please give us a follow there. If you aren't a supporter and you want higher quality audio and bonus content, head on over to fallthrough.fm/subscribe. And we're actually shipping video episodes again on YouTube. So head on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you can get notified right when those episodes ship. And with that, let's get into the show. Hello, listener, viewer. How's it going? Hope you're having a good day. We are here, by we I mean me and Matt, are here to do another episode of Fall Through, and this one is going to be our Go 125 release episode. So what's new in Go 125? Before we dive into that, Matt, how are you doing today?
Great. I'm excited to talk about this. I actually made a video about Go 125 things on YouTube, so excited to chat more about it.
Yay! So exciting. So exciting. Yeah, so I guess without further ado, let's just jump into it. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. We're trying this new screen sharing thing. Hopefully it'll make it into the final video. We will see what happens in the edit.
We'll still act like it doesn't, so we can describe it well enough for the audio.
Yeah. I guess the first thing here, changes to the language. There aren't any. That's cool. It's a very simple first thing there. No new changes to the language. As far as syntax, I guess that really means.
Yeah. No enums, no option type, no error equals nil stuff. all of this we already knew.
Yeah, although the concept of core types has been removed, which was a thing I saw. I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to be kind of cool. Okay.
I did read that post about the core type removal in the language spec in favor of like more prose, I guess they say.
Yeah,
I read about that, and it seemed like not like it seemed like a net like no op essentially. It was mainly just a clarification around language in the spec, so that's kind of cool. Which is, we talk about language and nuance here on this podcast, so it's cool that they actually are doing that.
Yeah, it looked like it was like going to be helpful in actually understanding the spec better. Yeah. It seems like that was kind of like part of the problem. It was just like, oh, is this going to be understood? It's like it was confusing that this core type thing was introduced in there. So
yeah, for the average Go user, none of this matters. It's just more of if you're like, you need to look at the spec for something, you should be able to understand the distinction more now. It's good.
Yeah, which is important. All right. Next section.
I love how we start off. Changes in Go 125. Nothing.
No changes. Amusing. Very amusing. All right. So this next section here is on tools. So looks like there's a bunch of small things that have happened to the Go command. For one, I think this is pretty cool. Even though I don't use CGO that much, but the Go build -asan, ASAN option will now detect memory leaks from memory allocated by C that is not referenced by C or Go memory at program exit, which I imagine will help find some memory leaks in programs a little bit easier.
Yeah, that was an interesting read to me. I didn't know that was even coming. So, and I don't do much C interop with Go, so it wasn't really relevant to me. But still a cool addition.
Yeah. What's next? The Go distribution will now include fewer pre-built tools. I imagine that's going to mean that the Go tool or the Go distribution will be a lot lighter to download.
Yeah.
Which sounds nice.
The Go mod having a new ignore directive, that's cool. So
yeah,
you can like you can there's a new directive for Go mod called ignore that you can like put file paths or directory paths, I guess. And when you'd like run a Go command that has to match certain packages, like Go test or Go build or whatever, it'll ignore those paths, which is nice. I guess that'll be helpful with more of the monorepo setup, or if you have like other code that's not relevant to you building this code, it's good to ignore that. That's pretty cool. Should help for like container use cases too.
I think it's interesting that it's still included in the module zip files. I guess that means you can package things, potentially like other tools and stuff like that, with the module as it gets distributed.
This looks like a supporting feature to like the Go tool stuff that's been introduced. So you could probably ignore the tools, but then like have them in the repo so that you can use them.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ever going to use this, but
same. I mean, it's if you keep your repos pretty like slim and focused on what the project is, you probably won't need it. If you have mono repos or make heavy use of like Go tool or something, you might look at this at some point, but it's there.
Yeah. New GoDoc HTTP option. I wasn't aware this didn't exist. I was reading this and I was like, oh, I thought you could already do this. But I guess you couldn't. So this is a little patching of a hole.
So I was aware this didn't exist because I had a use case to run the Go docs locally, and I think it was Go doc instead of Go space doc, and like it was a different tool. I didn't know the history behind that or whatever, but I ran that and I was like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. I guess the built-in Go tool doesn't have a way to do it, and now they do. So that's good. I mean, this is the airplane option, right? This is like I am on an airplane and I want to see the docs nicely for the thing.
Right.
Which I like.
Yeah. I remember at a previous job, we ran like a GoDoc server that had like, because this was back when it was GoPath. So we just like had a GoPath that had our own code in it. So it was just like a server running. It was just a GoDoc server that was running on one of the machines I had in the office. And so people could look up documentation for our own application in a nice, pretty formatted way without having to run GoDoc themselves, because it's kind of annoying to run it themselves. They run it yourself all the time. I was like, oh, this is cool. So that was fun. All right. And I think this one is also going to be, this next one is going to be useful for people in CI/CD pipelines, where you can now do this go version -m-json to spit out the version, or really the debug.build info structure as a JSON object. So I think that'll be nice for like being able to parse it in automated tools, to understand like what version of Go you're using without having to like make some weird regex in order to parse it.
Yeah. And also I think you'll probably still get the BCS information in there too. I think that's included in debug build info, but I don't remember.
Let me look this up. Debug.build info. Yeah, it has the Go version, the path, the module, dependencies, and build settings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of info there. That's nice.
And it looks like build settings will have BCS information in it. Build settings is like a key value struct, essentially, and it'll have BCS information in there. Nice. So yeah, you get to get all that stuff in your CI/CD, in any pipeline, really. I mean, wherever you want to call it, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Or even in like scripts that automate stuff or automate building, you can like check the Go version to make sure you have like a good Go version, or check other information. So that's going to be nice.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. Next we have the Go command now supports using a subdirectory of a repository as the path for a module root. This is something that I was always like, I don't know how it worked before, but it was like some people put their module, because they have like a monorepo or something, or they have a bunch of different programming languages, so they'll put it in like a Go directory or something else. And I was always like, how do you find that module though? That seems like more annoying. So it's cool now that you can just kind of make the root of the module some subdirectory within the VCS repo. So you don't have to have like some extraneous name or something on the end of your package or your path import path or whatnot.
I gotta test how this works because I did like a JJ workspace to basically like a Git work tree, and when I was using like multiple AI agents or whatever, and I would normally put like a work tree in a nested directory. So essentially you'd have like your Go, your Go module root, and I would do a work tree that has like foo, and then there's another root there. But then when I was running Go commands in there, it was giving me weird errors, and I traced it back to the fact that it didn't like being nested. Because I guess the Go mods were like competing with each other or whatever. So I hope this changes that, but I have to test and see how that goes.
Yeah. No, this one is. Once again, I don't think I have a use case for this right now, but I think it would have been helpful with some of the ways that I had some things at jobs I've had previously work that would have been useful for this. Speaking of work, the new work package pattern matches all packages in the work, formerly called main modules, either the single work module in module mode or the set of workspace modules in the workspace mode.
I haven't used much of the workspaces, so this line doesn't mean much to me right now.
The new work package pattern matches. I didn't realize there was a work package.
Me neither. This is something that I'd have to like look up more.
Let's see. This is a fun thing. How do you look at release notes or the like package.go.dev, but for the newest version? I don't think you can. But I want to look at what this package is. /golang/go. Traverse in here. Source. There should be a work package in here.
I don't know if that's what that means. I don't like the way this is written.
I don't think that's what it means. I don't think it's an actual package.
I think this is just saying like when you use the word work as like a package pattern, it'll like get all of the modules in the workspace. I don't know. That needs to be rewritten. This needs to be rewritten, or I'm just lacking context on what it really means.
Yeah, this sentence is confusing.
Yeah, I'm not following this sentence at all.
The new work package pattern matches all packages in the work modules. Yeah. I'm not sure. That's interesting.
Yeah, I have to do some more testing. It's probably just because I don't use Go workspaces like that. So maybe I'm just not familiar with the lingo and I don't understand what that really means. So.
Oh, I wonder if this is like if you do like Go build work, it'll build like everything in the workspace.
That's how I'm reading it. I'm reading it in that use case where like work is what you pass when you want to like target packages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Okay. Next, when the go command updates the go line in a go.mod or go.work file, it no longer adds a toolchain line specifying the command's current version. I feel like Dylan will be very happy about this because I feel like I remember Dylan being very upset about it doing this. Or maybe it was, oh no, it wasn't adding the toolchain. Maybe it was just updating the Go declaration, the Go version declaration and the go.mod. I don't remember which it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, this seems...
It won't add a line.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't say it won't update one, but that makes sense.
Interesting. What's the toolchain directive? Okay, that's cool. It like bounces it out and you can still see it. That's nice. Toolchain directive declares a suggested Go toolchain to use with a module.
Yeah, I started reading up about Go toolchains and I got bit by this a little bit because like if you set Go toolchain to like auto, which I think is default, and like you have your primary version of Go that's installed, you can have some errors like building things depending on how you have your stuff set up. Like I had a problem where I was expecting to build with the latest version of Go. That's not the version of Go I had installed in path. So like it was building with a different version, even though the toolchain said to build with like, this version. So yeah, I still don't fully understand the toolchain method. I have to read the Go toolchains blog posts or documentation.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh well.
What?
Oh well.
Oh well. Okay, that concludes the Go command portion of the release notes. There's another section of tools for vet. There's 2 new analyzers included in Go vet. There's one for wait group, which reports misplaced calls to sync.waitgroup.add.
Nice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's going to show you. It's going to basically give you a linter error, I guess, if
you like put it within the Go routine instead
exactly.
of right before you call it. Okay, yep. That's cool and helpful.
And there's more later in the release notes that kind of talk about this, so we'll get there.
Nice. And then host port, which reports use of funct.sprintf host port to construct addresses for net.dial, as these will break with IPv6. And suggests using net.join host port instead.
Don't use format strings to make a host port combo. Use net.join host port.
Yeah.
That's fair advice.
That's cool. That's nice. I like that. All right. And that concludes tools. I think there's quite a bit there. Some interesting stuff. Yeah. I honestly have no idea when I would use like any of this stuff though.
Yeah. I think the only thing I'll use here is a doc in the Go version, and that's it.
Yeah. All right. On to the next section, which is about runtime.
Ooh, my favorite section.
Yay. Container aware Go max procs. So this is like a big beefy paragraph, but it boils down to the Go max procs, which is the max number of threads that'll get spawned, or I guess non-blocking threads that'll get spawned by Go, is now more dynamic. So it'll actually look at things like C groups and the C group bandwidth limit, which is basically like how many CPUs are allocated to the Go process. And it will adjust Go max procs up or down depending on what that value is. So if you're running in Kubernetes and you give it like 2 CPUs, it'll only, set Go max procs to 2 instead of, some other value it might find. This can be overridden by using the Go max procs environment variable or by adjusting it manually at runtime by calling runtime.gomaxprocs or not call. Oh yeah, that's a function.
It's a function call. Yeah.
So by calling that, and then you can also disable this using Go debug settings per usual.
I was super happy to see this change. This was amazing because I do operate in the Kubernetes world, and traditionally, like, you'd either have to use like a third-party package to do this, where it would monitor the C groups and understand it. But I don't remember if those third-party packages kept up to date as you changed, because Kubernetes just released or is releasing support for dynamic pod resizing, where pods can be resized live without restart. And that's nice because then now you can like resize and your app can do it. This is probably my favorite release point in the whole thing. But I don't want to spend so much time on it. I did check out my YouTube channel. I released a Go 125 features video like a couple weeks ago, and I talk all about Go max procs here. And I have an example of how to like run a process in a C group and dynamically adjust its stuff. And you can see how Go now sees it, sees the change live. So check that out. But this is really, really fun. And it makes using things like Uber Auto Max Procs or whatever the package is unnecessary now.
Nice.
Anytime I can not use an Uber thing, I'm happy. No.
Yeah, some cross promotion there. Go check out Matt's video.
Oh yeah, sorry. Disclaimer: this channel is brought to you by. No, I'm just kidding.
Today's sponsor. Nope, we don't have sponsor. So yeah, I mean it's really cool. I'm happy that this is adjusting. I remember back in the days when Go max procs was always set to 1 by default, and people got super confused. And Rob Pike was like concurrency does not mean parallelism. So yes, Go max procs is 1. That doesn't mean Go isn't a good language for concurrency. I remember him having to explain it. And then I don't remember what version it was, but some version of Go, they were finally like, okay, Go max procs is now set to the number of CPU cores you have. And everybody's like, yay.
Which is that was a fair setting. Because like generally speaking, even if you have an IO bound or CPU bound workload, like setting Go max procs to the number of threads and like, number of CPU threads or virtual cores, whatever you want to call them, is a good default, right? Because it like,
yeah.
It's perfectly in the middle for both of those types of workloads. So that's nice.
Yeah. And if you did have a thread that was blocking on something, you just spawn a new thread. So it was really just threads that you could do actual work on. It used to just be one, and now it's however many processors, however many cores you have. There we go.
I know.
And now it's dynamic, including even more information, which is super cool. All right. Anything else on Go Max Procs?
No. Yeah. Great feature.
Okay. New experimental garbage collector. I think this is really cool. So I'll just read this paragraph here. A new garbage collector is now available as an experiment. This garbage collector's design improves the performance of marking and scanning small objects through better locality and CPU scalability. Benchmark results vary, but we expect somewhere between a 10 and 40% reduction in garbage collection overhead in real-world programs that heavily use the garbage collector, which basically means that you're creating a lot of garbage. The new garbage collector may be enabled by setting go experiment equals green t gc at build time. We expect the design to continue to evolve and improve. To that end, we encourage Go developers to try it out and report back their experiences. See the GitHub issue for more detail on the design and instructions for sharing feedback. I think this is really cool. I'm really happy that they keep making improvements to the garbage collector in Go.
Same.
Because I think it helps to lessen the argument that a lot of people have that like, oh, you can't use Go for embedded stuff because it's garbage collected. And it's like, or you can't use Go for real-time stuff because it's garbage collected.
It definitely like reduces the stigma of it, which is nice.
Yeah.
And to date, I have never felt the impact of a garbage collector. Like, seriously, to the point where it's like, okay, I need to fix this.
Yeah, because I mean, even ever since they really reduced the garbage collector max pause time to like, what is it, like 100 microseconds? Yep. So now it's like so fast, the stop the roll part of the garbage collection process, that it's just like any real-time stuff you're doing, for the most part, you're probably not going to be impacted by 100 microsecond pause unless you're doing something really, really low latency, or like high frequency or something like that. So I think this is really cool. I think whatever you can make a garbage collector more efficient, that is ideal.
Go try it out.
Yeah, go use it. Go report your experience back to the Go team so they can further improve it. Next is a change to unhandled panic output. The message printed when a program exits due to an unhandled panic that was recovered and repanicked no longer repeats the text of the panic value. I like this. It was always confusing when you saw like panic. You're like, what's going on? And now it'll actually tell you with text that it has been repanicked, which is nice.
Yeah, I like that. This is a good quality of life change.
Might have to add that to our new segment of Panic and Recover. Panic, recover, repanic.
Repanic.
I don't think there's a whole lot to say on that. Just a nice little
good quality of life.
Quality of life improvement. This one's a bit niche. Virtual memory address names on Linux. On Linux systems with kernel support for anonymous virtual, memory address, memory area. Virtual memory area names on Linux. On Linux systems with kernel support for anonymous virtual memory area names, the Go runtime will annotate anonymous memory mappings with context about their purpose. So you can have like, anon Go heap for heap memory. Okay, that's cool.
That's nice. Yeah.
This can be disabled with Go debug setting decorate mappings equals 0.
More quality of life looks like for people that are lower level enough to want to debug these things and see what their memory is actually being used for. Again, not something this is probably not something I'm ever going to touch, but very cool that they're looking at it.
Yeah, I feel like this will help with like, so I feel like I remember someone that now works at Oxide complaining about how like the lower parts of Go were like Go spit out gross stuff, and it wasn't like as nice to like debug and look at the low level.
Yeah.
That wasn't Brian, that was who's the other guy that hosts Oxide and Friends?
Probably Adam.
Adam. Yeah. I think it was Adam that mentioned that he didn't like Go because it was like all not nice at the lower levels.
Sounds right.
So hopefully this kind of stuff will make it better, slowly improve. I think there's some other stuff about, especially like Dwarfy, that we'll get to in a second, that should also be nice.
Yeah, that'd be the compiler section.
Yes, which is the section we're moving on to next, compiler. So this first one is super interesting. I didn't even know this happened.
We were talking about it before recording the podcast. Yeah, actually.
So there was a nil pointer bug in the compiler, which is very interesting. So there was in the Go 121 release up until Go 124, there was an incorrect delayed nil pointer check. So basically, there's this example code here where you do a os.open on a file that doesn't exist. And then before you do the error checking, you try and grab the name from the returned file. And the file returned here is an interface, right? Is os.file an interface or an...
No, it should be a pointer to a file.
No, it's a struct. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a nil struct. So if you called f.name, that is a nil pointer, so it should usually panic. And
it doesn't.
It doesn't. So that was a problem.
This shocked both Kris and I because we would have never thought this was a thing. But also we're very much, our code generally like is very tight with the error handling. We check the error handling right after we call a function that returns an error. And I guess some people don't. And that's been a bug for a while now. It looks like 121.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So this is going to be fixed in Go 125. This will actually panic.
Which is nice, I guess. Yeah. This will blow up. Hopefully it doesn't break anybody's code because that would be unfortunate. But it seems like it should be pretty easy to fix if it breaks your code. Just move the, assignment after the error check.
Yeah.
Always do your if error does not equal nil right after you allocate that error or assign that error. Yeah, not a whole lot to talk about here. It's pretty self-descriptive, but also,
Yeah, this whole compiler section is pretty like
cool stuff.
Cool stuff. Yeah, it's just mainly like, even the next point I guess we can move to.
Yeah.
Like now there's Dwarf 5 support. So now Go 125 will generate debugging information using Dwarf version 5. And that's basically all there is to say about that, right? Like, if you are someone that cares about getting the debug info out of your compiled binaries and such, you can do that now with Dwarf version 5, which is cool.
Which is nice because it'll reduce the space required for debugging information.
Yep.
And I think this is interesting. Reduces time for linking, so it'll actually make your compiles faster.
Yeah,
which is nice.
We all know linking's one of the longest steps in in things, so we get it.
Yeah. This next point is super cool. Faster slices. So now the compiler is going to allocate the backing store for slices on the stack in more situations, which is really cool because that means you won't have just allocating stuff on the heap and having to deal with that. They do point out that it has the potential to amplify incorrect unsafe pointer usage. So that's something to note. But there's this tool that I didn't know existed called the bisect tool that you can use to find an allocation that is causing this problem where it's like on the stack even though you thought it was on a heap, which is cool. It's cool. I'm glad there's a tool for this.
Yeah, and that's a Go tool, not like Git bisect or something. That's like an actual Go tool.
This is a Go bisect tool.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Oh, look at this easy section to do.
Linker is the next section. I'll just read this whole paragraph because it's short. The linker now accepts a func_align equals end command line option, which specifies the alignment of function entries. The default value is platform dependent and is unchanged in this release. This is something that I never go near because I don't think about function alignment.
Me neither.
In my binaries that I create. But apparently somebody does. So
somebody does.
Alignment of function entries. When you diving into this low level stuff is sometimes so much fun because it's just like, wow, you get reminded of how Go actually works.
Yep.
and how you actually like how programming languages in general work. It's like, oh yeah, you have to compile all the objects and then you have to link them together to create the binary, and a whole bunch of interesting magic that has to happen to make that actually work, which is cool.
It is cool. And now this is technically this is the last section, but it's the biggest section.
It's the beefiest. It's the standard library. Okay.
I'm excited about this one too.
This is going to be fun. So we have a new testing/sync test package. And this is for testing concurrent code. And there's 2 functions, it looks like. Maybe there's more. I haven't looked at the package, but there's a couple functions here. There's a test function, which I'll just read the paragraph here. The test function runs a test function in an isolated quote unquote bubble. Within the bubble, time is virtualized. Time package functions operate on a fake clock, and the clock moves forward instantaneously if all Go routines in a bubble are blocked. That's cool.
Yeah. I like this a lot. This is the second of the things that I put in the video that I made, the Go 125 video on my YouTube channel. This is super cool because now we have a real way of testing concurrent code without having to like do a bunch of time.sleeps everywhere and like hope that things move. A little weird to use at first because, you know, the virtual time stands still unless Go routines are blocked, right? So if every Go routine is durably blocked, they call it durably blocked in the actual like the testing sync test package. There's like documentation for it. If all Go routines are durably blocked, then time will advance, and they have a definition of durably blocked under the wait down there.
Oh, it looks like the name is interesting. So I'm like looking at the documentation. Sorry for listeners. I was just looking at the package that go.dev page, and it looks like it was called run, or was called run before.
Yeah, it was called run before.
And now it's called test.
Now it's called test. Yep. And wait. You can see wait. It's pretty interesting because you run your code in a bubble. Any Go routines that are spawned in that bubble are basically like tracked by that bubble. And then if they all get blocked, time moves forward. So you can call a special wait function now that's introduced in this that will wait for, like, you know, let's say you spawn a Go routine to do some work, you call wait, that'll wait for the Go routine to be blocked. And then if all Go routines are blocked, time will move forward in that bubble. And then you can like assert like, oh, since time moved forward, is my context canceled? Is this happening? Whatever assertions you need to make in your tests you can make. And then move time forward again afterwards.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah,
little weird to use at first because, you know, I feel like humans are not really well wired to understand concurrency primitives easily, you know? We're very linear creatures. So having to think about this is a little weird at first, but definitely tested it out and see. I think you're going to like it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. This last paragraph here about it was first available on Go 124. That's why it's there. Okay, yeah. I'm excited for this because testing concurrent code has been one of the most annoying things to do in Go for a very long time because it's just such a pain.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, and I feel like this is like the big exciting thing of this release, even though it's still an experiment, but new experimental encoding JSON v2 package. So if you weren't aware, listener/viewer, there have been a group of people that have been working on a v2 of the encoding JSON package for a number of years now, and it is finally to the point where it is ready to be tested in the wild and tested in like as part of Go. So it's still behind an environment variable called JSON v2 that you have to enable at build time. But this gives you access to 2 new packages. One is encoding JSON v2, which is the next major revision of the encoding JSON package. And the other is encoding JSON text, which is a package that gives you access to the lower level processing of JSON syntax. This is one of the more annoying things about the encoding JSON package in the past is that like you didn't have access to this lower level processing. So it could had the potential to make like a ton of garbage as it was marshaling or unmarshaling JSON, which was super annoying.
Yeah, agreed. This was the last of the 3 things I covered in the YouTube video I was mentioning on my channel. And I show examples of like how to use the new JSON v2 package, and I show examples of JSON text and like how to build your own marshaller unmarshaller. Really cool, because you get the ability to walk JSON tokens now, which is amazing. So now you can like build a true JSON, marshaller unmarshaller. And I really enjoyed it. And there's like 2 parallel APIs here that you're probably used to if you're used to JSON v1 package, I guess now. There's the marshal unmarshal path, and then there's the encoder decoder path. And those parallel sort of APIs still exist in JSON v2. And if you want to implement unmarshaling and marshaling, there's also 2 ways to implement that now, which is nice. So you have the ability to implement it based on like a byte slice, or based on like a JSON text encoder decoder, which has the token functions that we're talking about. So very cool. I think the decision to do that is nice, because there's some users that are like, I just need a slice of bytes and I'll just like marshal it myself, right? And there's other people that are like, give me the encoder and I'll walk it and I'll do the encoding, and it's very, very cool that both of those options are there.
Yeah. I'm excited because I feel like this will also enable people to build, especially when it comes to like REST APIs or APIs in general, like kind of abstract their own objects away from the JSON representation, because it was kind of more difficult to do with the old package, because if you did want to kind of build your own encoder decoder, it was such a pain, because you had to kind of build the entire thing yourself, and that could create a lot of garbage with how the tokens worked.
Yep.
So I hope this encourages people to kind of build your own thing, so you can have all your fancy JSON processing rules that don't align with how the standard library does it automatically, especially around things like nil and undefined, and when something isn't there versus when it's empty, and all of that.
Oh yeah, we should mention there's a performance benefit here too to the JSON v2 package. On the encoding side, it's basically the same as v1, but on the decoding side, the new JSON v2 package is quote unquote substantially faster. They link out to a github.com/go JSON experiment JSON bench repository that shows the breakdown of their benchmarks and such. I have not tested it myself for my own code, but I have in the past removed the built-in JSON v1 encoder and decoder because it was slow. So perhaps I can use this JSON v2 encoder in those cases. So yeah, there's a performance benefit.
Nice. We do love performance benefits. All right. Moving on to the minor changes to the standard library. There's a whole bunch of them.
There are a whole bunch. I don't know if we want to read all of them or just pick the ones that we think are most relevant.
Yeah, I think we can pick ones that are most relevant. I think there's this crypto stuff. There's like a bunch of updates to various crypto packages. And also some changes to the whole FIPS 140 stuff. If you missed that, there's now FIPS support directly in Go, which I think is going to be helpful for people. I think like that was one of the primary reasons why Microsoft made their own build of Go, actually, was because of the lack of FIPS support in the upstream Go distribution. So I imagine the Microsoft folks will probably be pretty happy about more and more FIPS stuff getting put into Go itself, upstream Go proper.
Yeah, I can't comment much on the crypto stuff. I'm not much in this field, but to the listener or viewer, there's a ton of crypto changes that if you are into this and or maybe waiting on something, you should read these and see if it affects you.
Yeah, for sure.
There's also like some file system related changes. I won't get into all of it, but like archive tar, IOFS, different things that operate on file systems have the ability now to read file systems. They support symbolic links now, which is nice. So if you work with a lot of file system things in Go, you have some symbolic link support.
Nice.
Cool.
There's some nice Go/package stuff too, ASD parser token types, which I've messed around and used these packages in the past, and they are interesting to work with, but very very useful at times.
Yeah, those I'd have to look into more because I wanted to get more into that AST parser token types packages, but I have not had the time to do so. So a bunch of changes there, which is nice.
Yeah. There's some changes to the net package. I don't think there's anything like super substantial here.
No, it looks like just some quality of life updates to how like lookup things happen in the resolver, how, you know, some IPv6 support and some Windows updates, like, you know, being able to convert between an OS file and a network connection, you know, because they're both technically an IO reader at the end of the day, or an IO writer, depending on which way you're going. So I guess you can convert between those now, which is nice. So a lot of quality of life updates there.
Yeah, which is nice. The net HTTP package, this one's pretty huge, I will say. Filippo actually wrote a blog post about this, and I'll just read this paragraph out. The new cross-origin protection implements protections against cross-site request forgery by rejecting non-safe cross-origin browser requests. It uses modern browser fetch metadata, doesn't require tokens or cookies, and supports origin-based and pattern-based bypasses. So what's really cool about this is that cross-site request forgery is a very annoying thing to try and deal with. Yeah, and for those that don't know, cross-site request forgery is basically like if you have a form, let's say you have like your bank account, right? And you have a form on a different website, and you have the submission address of that form to be the bank website. You can basically go from one website and submit data against another website as if you were like, you know, filling out a legitimate form on that website. And this is cross-site request forgery. And there's historically been a number of different ways that you can mitigate against this by using tokens or by using different cookies or double submit cookies. But it's all been kind of a pain to implement. And it turns out that the way that fetch works in the browser, there's some extra metadata gets sent, some extra headers that get sent. And now that we're in 2025 and all these modern browsers have implemented all this metadata, it turns out you can cover like 99% of browsers that are in use or something like that with just this metadata version of it. So they added this to the standard library now. So if you have a web server, you can just enable this, and it will protect you from cross-site request forgery, and it won't add any extra noise. You don't have to track any extra state or anything like that, which is really, really cool.
Agreed.
So happy about this. There's a lot of OS package changes.
Yeah, this is the OS package changes is more Windows quality of life things. Some more performance quality of life things, like not blocking on threads for some different IO methods and deadline methods. More symbolic link support things for different file system based packages, file system based functions, and a whole bunch of like additional methods on a root type. So a lot of just quality of life here, right? I mean, the average, if you already have code that's working on file systems, you're probably not going to change it to implement a lot of this stuff unless you're on Windows, because it now like has some improved performance associated with it. But I was actually surprised to see this. I mean, I felt like the OS package was pretty stable in that regard, right? I didn't think they were going to put much more effort into it, but there's a lot of new changes here, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's nice to see even some older packages getting some nice updates and changes, especially for Windows. I feel like this release has a lot of Windows quality of life stuff in it, as you mentioned. I think that's really cool. I think it's nice that Windows is still treated as a first-class citizen and Go.
Yeah, agreed.
Reflect. I always like looking at Reflect stuff. What's this? Reflect. Oh, the new type assert function permits converting a value directly to a Go value of a given type. Oh my God. This is so nice.
This is nice, actually.
Yeah, this is like using a type assertion on the value of a value.interface, but avoids unnecessary memory allocations.
Yep.
There's no documentation for that because it's not out yet. I like this, because that's one of the most annoying things about using reflect has been getting an actual value out of it at the end of the day. The incantation you had to write was like so annoying. So this is definitely a nice quality of life thing.
Agreed.
I don't even know. I don't even know there was a syntax package under regexp. So
this is going to be tied to like the Unicode package updates, but basically we have some like category class updates. So the regex syntax package now accepts different character classes to accept names, ASCII, CN, LC, assign, Unicode categories. So now you can assign character classes by name, and the Unicode package updated its category aliases to like use category names like letter instead of L. Who puts L? I know that's probably adhering to like the lower level stuff, but it's nice to have more human readable things now. Like, how was I supposed to know that closed punctuation meant P? I don't know what that means,
Right.
So now I can look at human readable names and be like, oh yeah, I want to match a number. I can use number instead of N. Or I want to match a punctuation. I can use punctuation instead of P. So really nice.
Nice. I like that.
I think this is going to be good for those who are doing like more parsing work, where you can have more readable code. Say I want to match this specific character, or like peak until this or whatever. So
right. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Nice, another nice little quality of life improvement there.
Yeah.
Speaking of quality of life improvements, runtime package. Okay, let's go. I'm the add cleanup thing. I'm so happy they added this. But I'll just read these paragraphs out. Cleanup functions scheduled by add cleanup are now executed concurrently and in parallel, making cleanups more viable for heavy use like the unique package. Note that individual cleanups should still shunt their work to a new go routine if they must execute or block for a long time to avoid blocking the cleanup queue. I think this is nice. I think maybe it'll actually make it so cleanups run a bit faster in general, so you have a better understanding of when they will run, which I'm happy about, because I'm like happy in general they added the add cleanup, because the set finalizer thing was always so confusing to use, and add cleanup is a much nicer interface overall. And continuing, a new go debug check finalizer equals 1 setting helps find common issues with finalizers and cleanups, such as those described in the new GC guide. In this mode, the runtime runs diagnostics on each garbage collection cycle and will regularly report the finalizers and cleanup queue links to std error, standard error, to help identify issues with long-running finalizers and or cleanups. See the Go debug documentation for more details. This is really nice too, because now you'll actually be able to understand when they're running, how they're running, so you can actually get a better feel for how your finalizers or cleanups are actually working, which I like. And then finally, the new set default gomaxprocs function sets gomaxprocs to the runtime default value as if gomaxprocs environment variable was not set. This is useful for enabling the new gomaxprocs default if it has been disabled by the gomaxprocs environment variable or a prior call to gomaxprocs. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can get the live updating feature, but set a starting point.
That's cool.
Yeah, because previously if you called like runtime gomaxprocs, it would just never update again after that, because it's like, hey, you said it, I'm not going to touch it. But this is like, give me a default, and then I'll update as necessary. So very nice. This is like the complementary change to what we covered earlier.
Right. Yeah, so really happy about the finalizers and cleanup stuff. Really happy about the gomaxproc stuff. Just looking good, Go. All the stuff is looking good.
Yeah, very.
There's some updates to the preprof package as well. Mutex profile for contention on runtime internal locks now correctly points to the end of the critical section that caused the delay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
This matches the profile behavior for contention and sync.mutex values, runtime contention stacks, setting for go debug, which allowed opting into the usual behavior of go 122 through 124 for this part of the profile is now gone. Okay. Just
more performance enhancements. Yeah.
pprof is just so great. I'm so happy we have pprof built in. Runtime trace. Okay, this new flight recorder thing looks pretty cool, I will say. So this new flight recorder provides a lightweight way to capture a trace of the last few seconds of execution at a specific moment in time. When a significant event occurs, a program may call flight recorder.write2 to snapshot available trace data. The length of time and amount of data captured by a flight recorder may be configured within flight recorder config. I'm happy about this because I've loved the runtime trace package since it was introduced.
Yeah.
Like, I think that the ability to just get a trace of like everything that is happening is really useful if you are in a situation like I have been in the past when you just have like no idea what is going wrong and you just kind of want to step through things and see things without having to like pull out a debugger and use a debugger and maybe have some like timing things related to having a debugger running. But it has been real annoying to get traces out in the past. Especially if you just want a small trace, you have to like run it and do all this other stuff, or at least you used to have to run and do all this other stuff in order to like get the trace that you want and like hit the record button and all of that. It was really annoying. So being able to like programmatically do this is really cool, and I'm excited about this. I don't know if I'll have good use cases. I think I have some use cases coming up where this will be helpful. Just be able to pull a trace out and be able to look at that and be able to insert my code as such.
The sync package, I'm very, very excited about this one. This relates to some of the wait group stuff we mentioned in the Go Vet section. The sync package has a new waitgroup.go method that makes the common pattern of creating and counting Go routines more convenient. I don't think this release note does this justice, to be completely honest with you. Previously, when you're using wait groups, you generally get a wait group variable. You call waitgroup.add to add before you go into your Go routine, and then you defer the the stop or end. I forget what the defer call was. What was it? Done, right? Yeah,
right.
You defer the waitgroup.done. I couldn't think of the name. That was the pattern previously. Now you could just call waitgroup.go, and it takes an anonymous function that's going to run in a Go routine. So it's very similar API to the error group, if you're familiar with the error group package in Go, with the exception that it obviously doesn't manage errors like that, right? It just takes an arbitrary anonymous function that returns nothing. So very cool. Much easier to use wait groups, in my opinion. A better API. You don't have to do the add and defer done. You can just do waitgroup.go and you're on your way. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
I imagine this will help with some of the mistakes people made as well, where they like wait group to add in the Go routine. You're like, that's not correct.
Yep. So I was super excited to see that. And it makes the ergonomics better because now you can just do like, get a wait group variable, waitgroup.go task 1, waitgroup.go task 2, and then waitgroup.wait, rather than having to do like wait group add, go func defer this, wait group add, go func defer that, wait group wait. And it's just like you'll be able to condense that code down, which is really nice.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that one sentence does not do justice.
That sentence kind of, Go team, if you listen to this or whoever writes this, please, that sentence does not help this line at all. This should also be much higher in the release notes in probably its own section. Yeah, this is not a minor change, I don't think. I mean, it is a minor change, but you should highlight it more.
It's a minor change, but it feels like a pretty major change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of interesting changes that feel kind of major, this testing new methods of t.adder, b.adder, and f.adder and an attribute to the test log.
Thank God.
I feel like this is going to be very useful.
Thank God. Yeah, this is another one of those, like, I would have not found this had I not been reading these release notes. So you should have made more noise about it, because I'm used to like doing t.log and like putting a format in there and doing like %#v to get like a big expanded Go value or whatever. Now I could just put attributes in my tests.
Or like having to name your test with like a really obnoxiously long name to differentiate it from other tests.
The foo is not empty, but the bar is actually empty, +1 minus. Yeah, that's your test name.
And for like table tests, it was like this is gonna be so much cleaner for table tests, because it's like, I have my test function that's running, and I can just have the same name and then just do attributes for things. Like, I feel like this is going to be way better.
Yeah, exactly. Very happy about this. There's a few more to this. You can actually, so you can create attributes. Basically, an attribute is a key value pair. It'll be printed in your test along with the logs for your tests. Actually, there's an output method that will write to the same stream as the log, which is nice. And
that is also huge. Like what?
Yeah, huge. And then there's a new function called Alex per run, and that'll panic if parallel tests are running. So that way you can catch some of like your panicking behavior in other tests and in your other bugs in your tests.
Wait. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's inherently flaky if other tests are running. Okay, that's okay. Cool.
Yeah,
that's useful.
Yeah,
now
this
is also just like some banger updates right here. Some real good quality of life stuff. I really like T.Editor, but I also like the output method is just so nice, because there's been so many times that I just like I want to output some information and it's just like it just winds up looking so funky because it's just like a writing to standard out or whatever standard.
Yep. And now the output's gonna be huge. Yeah. Oh well, I should mention that output returns a writer that you can write to. That's right. Like how the API works. But that writer will write to the same output stream as log, and the output's indented. So yeah, it's just another way to, because we've all been doing it. We've all been doing t.log, or we've all been doing like in our tests some even graver format print lines or whatever. It's nice because now you can call output, and if you need a writer to be passed into something that your test is going to use to actually output things, you have it right there. So
it's always so amazing. Annoying because you output something into I've done gnarly things. I've like created a file during a test and wrote to the file just because I wanted to see like exactly what it was rather than having it mingled in the test output. So yeah, this is really nice. Yeah, huge minor updates, but like it just feels good because there's some pain points here around how to use some of these things and they're being addressed. So very cool. Some update to MapFS. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is more this is updates to testing FS tests, which is great.
Cool. And then Unicode. This is the other part of what you were mentioning earlier, which is really cool.
Yeah, category names for your category aliases to alias a more friendly name to the category name in Unicode.
Letter for L, because why would you want to use L?
People should click that. Like you should click that and show people, because that one, it's funny to see the names that are in there.
Oh, because it's not in there yet. No. Oh yeah, but
yeah, I see all those. Well, there's a category aliases section in here.
Well, this is just the 124. Okay.
Oh, is that the 124 version?
Yeah, it doesn't have like I don't know how to look at the latest release. And
when you click the link, it didn't open up in master. That's why. That's weird. Why did that not open up in master?
Oh, okay.
There you go. Oh yeah, there you go. Now look for category aliases.
Is it like, where is it?
It should be.
Oh wait, I had like the.
Yeah, even better. Yeah. So you see this? Super nice, because now
case letter LC close. What are these? Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm saying. It was kind of annoying to have to use these 2-letter category names, and now you have a whole aliases map, so you can actually like use a more human readable name and understand what you're actually doing.
Digit and okay.
Yeah, I think this is just going to open up to people who want to use a Unicode package, but like this reads to me like, how the time.format has like a weird format they have to follow. Yeah, this reads to me like that. You know what I mean? Like the format was pretty bad, or the ergonomics were pretty bad, so this is a quality of life improvement to it. This is like the Unicode equivalent to that essentially. Even though the format and time still kind of sucks, but it's fine.
Yeah. Cool. Back. That definitely seems like it's going to be nice for people that use Unicode.
Yeah.
And finally, unique The unique package now reclaims interned values more eagerly, more efficiently, and in parallel. As a consequence, applications using make are now less likely to experience memory blowup when lots of truly unique values are interned. Okay, that's cool. Values passed to make containing handles previously required multiple garbage collection cycles to collect, proportional to the depth of the chain of handle values. Now, once unused, they are corrected promptly in a single cycle. Okay, so just some nice improvements to the unique package. I really like the unique package. I think it's like really cool. I wish I had more use cases to use it. That and weak pointers. Like there's so many times I've thought that I wanted a weak pointer, but I'm like, I don't think I actually want a weak pointer. But I'm glad that these things exist in Go now, because that was really like a missing part of the language.
I haven't used unique.make, but this is more quality of life stuff, which is great.
For sure. And then just some updates on ports. Go 125 will require macOS Monterey. For Windows, the latest release contains the broken 32-bit Windows ARM port. It'll be removed in 126. Oh, it's the last release will have 32-bit, which is if you're still doing a major OS 32-bit for Windows or macOS. Well, macOS doesn't even have a 32-bit version anymore, so. The long 64 port now supports the race detector. That's cool. I didn't realize it didn't. And RISC-V now supports plug-in build mode. I didn't even realize that plug-in build mode was still a thing.
Whoa.
Okay.
People still use the Go built-in plugin stuff? I thought they did their own thing now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought that functionality was going to be deprecated and not really supported. That's interesting.
Although it is kind of nice it's so simple that it's a good way to show someone how plugins work, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, the fact that they're adding support for it, I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know. Who knows what they're going to do with it?
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. All right, and I think that's it for the changes in Go 125. We've officially gone through what's new in Go 125. This feels like a pretty good release. I feel like there's some really cool stuff in here.
I agree. I obviously the three things that I covered in the YouTube video: Go Max Procs, JSON v2, and sync tests are the ones that stood out to me when I first read the release notes when I made the video. But now going through it again, I'm really excited for the testing attribute and output, and I'm excited for the wait group Go stuff, because I don't know, it's so frustrating to have to explain to someone oh no, put the add outside the Go routine, but put the defer inside the Go routine. If you mix them up, you're gonna it gets very frustrating when all you want to do is just go off and do this thing. And if I'm calling waitgroup.go, you know how many there are active. So why couldn't you just count it for me in the beginning? So yeah, it's good quality of life updates. I'm happy with what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I tripped over that. It's the same thing as when they fixed the loop shadowing problem. It's just nice quality of life update there.
Yeah. Something that okay, yeah, sure, us as more senior developers in the Go space or more experienced with Go, we already have been avoiding that. But new people coming to the language wouldn't have been avoiding that. So
right. Yeah, I'm super excited about the testing stuff too, because I feel like that'll make it so you can have much more nicely formatted test output.
Yes.
Which even just those two changes will make it so much easier and make the code so much cleaner to actually have nicely formatted test output, which is
agreed.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for going through this.
Yeah. So, listener, viewer, what you think? How excited are you for this new release of Go? Let us know on social media. If there's anything that you thought we should cover in more depth, maybe let us know. Maybe we can do another follow-on section in a subsequent video about some specific thing, dig into a little bit more. Maybe do some more video stuff. Maybe do a short video kind of walking through how that feature worked. Might be cool to do a little demo video of some of the testing stuff, play around with that or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But yeah, let us know, viewer and listener. And yeah, think that's it for the main part. Shall we do some maybe unpopular opinions, some panic and recover or something like that?
I'm down.
Okay. Do you have one? Do you have one?
Oh, I have a panic and a recover.
Okay.
This is gonna be related to a one I've done on a previous episode, but video. Oh God, I clearly I've been a little mad at video lately. Video with unrelated, annoying background music needs to go away. We can stop with that now. Not everything needs background music in a video.
Yeah.
Especially when the background music is like so off design or topic or whatever, or relevance. It's like I'm watching someone make a watch and you're playing freaking like house music on top of it. Like, no, I don't need that in my life. You know what I mean? I'm good, man. I don't need that. It makes me never want to click your video again.
Yeah.
But I do understand, and this is the recover. I understand why they do it, because video with audio, like with music, ranks better usually.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you have like a video that has, the audio track is like nothing, but there's every now and then there's like some sounds, it doesn't do as well. But that's just, I guess this whole thing speaks to people's attention spans.
I mean, yeah. Attention spans have been shortening.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay.
So you sent me a video with some bullshit music in it. I am deleting that so fast. Go ahead, send me the video. I'm deleting it.
Oh my God.
I mean, my wife sends me a bunch of links like to Instagram or whatever, and one, I can't click them because I don't like have Instagram, or I do have an account, but I don't ever use it. I just have the name. So when she sends it to me, I'm like, I can't see this. Or if there is one that I can see and it's like blaring music, I'm like, I am not watching this.
No, that's like my friend doesn't have TikTok, so if I want to send them a TikTok, I have to like download it and send it to them. Although sometimes if you do send someone a TikTok, they can't just like view it in the browser and it'll work. But
yeah, I guess I don't know how social media apps gate that, because you're right. Some posts I click and I'm like, I can watch this. Another post it's like, no, please sign in. How do you determine that? But
yeah,
whatever.
Oh,
do you have an unpop or a panic?
I feel like this is more unpopular opinion. In fact, I think this is just going to be a supporter only unpop, because it's spicy, and it's kind of what we were talking about before we started recording. So this is going to be a supporter only one. This is another example of like technology cannot solve societal ills.
Yes.
It can help to fix them, but it will not solve them. We have to actually choose to solve these problems.
Agreed.
Well,
wow. We we went on for that one.
That was definitely, and I feel like that's definitely gonna be so unpopular with people. But let us know, listener, or I guess really supporter, since that's definitely gonna be supporter only. Like that's. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Let's have a discussion about this. I feel like this is important to have discussions about. And with that, anything else before we close out this episode, Matt?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Will we continue to do Go release notes things? Will we do Zig release notes things or Rust release notes? I don't know. I don't know where we'll be on these things. So listener, viewer, if you have preferences on these things, if you like these episodes, or if you want to hear more about how we think about these release notes or just cover them, let us know. We're not really tied to a specific language, but we know that Go time has done it. So we're trying to keep it going for at least for some future. But yeah, let us know.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, listener/viewer. Catch you next time. So yeah, viewer, listener, how'd you like that? Thank you for sticking around to the end of the episode. Really appreciate it. Do you think we covered everything in 125? Is there something that you wish we covered in more depth that we didn't? let us know on social media and give us a follow. And make sure, if you aren't already, you're subscribed to us on YouTube. This episode of Fall Through was hosted by Chris Brando with co-host Matthew Sanabria. Fall Through is produced by Chris Brando and Angelica Hill, and our beats are by Breakmaster Cylinder.